Hello, everybody. Today I am here with Noor Al Jawhari. She is based out of Dubai. She is an enterprise solutions engineer at VMware. Hello, Noor.
Hello, hi Ronki, how are you? Good?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you're good as well. I'm so happy to have you with me. Let's just jump right in. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, basically, let me start from the family perspective. My name is Noor, as you all know. I'm the eldest in my family. So we are three, myself, my sister, and my brother. So I'm the eldest one. As you know, always the pressure is always on the first child to be always the first, to be always like the top of the class. Everything is, the first trials are basically on the first child. So I'm the victim. Other than that, I'm not only the first child, but also the first grandchild in my mom's side. So you can see how the attention is. And besides that, so we are considered a small family from the Mediterranean culture. So we are only three kids. Usually the Mediterranean culture have more than three kids, five, six, and so on. And I got married in 2017, so almost 4 years back. And I have one boy, Jawad. My son is 2 years right now, 2 years and a half. And what else? Also, I can tell you about myself that I'm always passionate about psychology. I have some passion about writing. I love writing. I write in my spare times, some like my own poems, my own philosophical writings, and I started to publish something during the COVID lockdown. Actually, I used that chance. And surprisingly, I have good readers, and I have some plans later on for that in the future.
When you say you had to be kind of like the trailblazer, the one who was in the focus, who had the pressure on her, how did that reflect on your education? How was it going to school? What kind of school did you go to?
Actually, when usually the parents have high expectations on the first child because they give a lot of attention, and I can see that from my experience with my son as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to make it too tough on him. Anyway, so reflecting on my own study aspect. So basically, I was always on top of my class. I was always like behaving, and my marks were always on the top. And however, I didn't have that space for creativity. You know, that space that you need some space to breathe, just to maybe some time to draw, to color. I had that space, but I didn't feel that I had it enough. And that's why now I'm trying to build that skill in my adulthood.
Yeah, I understand. So now
on the other
trying to build your creative side more, right?
Yes, but on the other end, I'm really very grateful from that support from my parents, because without them, I wouldn't enter IT actually, because IT is always a tough field for women. And from their support, from their push, always pushing us to the extra mile, always that vibe that you can do it, don't let anybody let you down, and so on. So that's positive self-talk made me like approach something that I wouldn't expect myself in that field at all.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject a question here. You say that your parents kind of paved the way for you to go into IT. Was that something they actively supported, or was it just the drive they gave you?
Actually, it was only kind of the drive, the energy, but they did not inject the field itself. However, they inject the idea that you can do whatever you believe in. That's the concept that I'm trying to throw. And another aspect, my family come from the side of believing that, let's say, the only approved fields are either education or engineering or medicine. You know, the old methodology or the old mentality of parents, that basically the classical jobs, we can say, these are the classical jobs in their mind. So when I graduated from school, it was either medicine, engineering, or something with education. So education, it means I'm ending up being a teacher at the end. So it was too limited. But when I picked up computer engineering, it was under the engineering umbrella, but a different field from what they expected. So they expected something like chemical engineering, something like a laboratory work, or biomedical engineering, something related again to medicine and to what they know.
Yeah.
And it was surprising to them. And actually, I picked up two selections in the university: computer science and computer engineering. So as the last decision was for me to have the computer engineering as a selection. Yeah, that's how I entered computer engineering.
When you went to school, before you went to university, did you already have some kind of technical education? Did you have IT at school or something?
You will be surprised. I had zero technical experience. Zero. Let's say I had no programming experience, or nothing about programming in school. Our school was mainly focused on the scientific courses like chemistry, biology, math, and the typical courses. And however, it was an interest from my own side that I'm always interested about machines and how they work, how computer works, and basically how to assemble and disassemble computer parts. I had that interest in mind all the time. And always at home, I'm the technician. So I always fix the TV, fix the fridge, fix anything. So I had that interest in mind.
Yeah, that's so interesting, really, So, and I'm wondering, so your parents didn't obviously expect you to do something with computer engineering. When you came to university, was it also unexpected for your classmates to find you there, or is it very common that women study computer engineering?
We have here in our culture, our Mediterranean culture, some friends, they enter the major together. It's like like a band. Let's say we are at the same friends group, so all of us enter the same major, or at least the same school. For me, I ended up in the engineering college in the American University of Sharjah in UAE, and I'm the only one in the computer engineering department from my school.
Oh, wow.
So the rest of the school graduates, they all went to business, either business or a mass communication, those different fields, not even related to engineering. So I'm the only one from my classmates who took the engineering path. And I was even feeling like, how come I'm the only one busy in university, and they're always in the shopping malls, they're either playing cards or maybe shopping, doing anything else other than studying.
Yeah.
So it was first year for me was a bit tough. However, I was holding that passion all the time, and my parents again pushed me further, and they said, since you selected it and you will shine, you always shine whenever you pick anything, so don't worry, as long as you know your skills, you're doing fine. So the first year was, I'm telling you, it was challenging. And the second thing that I actually added within my curriculum, I tried to pick something interesting to me to keep me active. I was an active member in the tennis team of the university. So that was for me, like, let's say, the window for me to take out the other side of the energy, where I can actually be more active, be more visible within the community of the college. And I was also an active member in the cultural clubs. We have a lot of cultural clubs. So I was very active in that aspect as well. So I was trying to balance out my college year.
So initially, when you said you were the only one who went to the engineering, I thought, oh God, that sounds a bit lonely and hard, because going there and all your other friends going to the other colleges. But it seems you are someone who can make the best of every situation. So it sounds like you have good coping mechanisms, and I also like your parents, who obviously just really believe in you. That's so important.
Yeah, actually, I would like to tell you more about that one. Like, since I had no friends, I entered the College of Engineering with zero friends, and I tried to create a new friends group through the projects, through different activities, and so on. And still, sometimes when you have this belief that you can do it, then you find the guidance with no effort.
True.
You just work hard, and then you feel some guidance is coming on your way. And not only that, but also all professors of our university college, all our professors were always supportive, whether it is a lady or a man. So they all support all students. And the projects we worked on, it was always a group-based projects. So we always have this group work, this cooperation together, collaboration. all the team members have to be active and so on.
Tell me a little bit more about the new friends you made at university. What kind of people did you meet there?
Actually, surprisingly, I met someone, she's my best friend today. And when I met her, actually, coincidentally, she had the same last name. So she had also, her name was Jawhari as well. Her name was Abir Jawhari. But I was surprised. I didn't have any cousins, nobody, nobody from my family in this college. And what happened is one of our professors, he was a common professor between me and her, and he introduced us to each other. And he said, he told me, come on, Noor, this is your cousin. I said, Professor, I have no cousins here. And then when we met each other, apparently she had the same family name, but she's from Syria and I'm from Palestine. But it seems maybe we had some roots or some, family origins. I have no clue about that. And then we ended up best friends, and we're both in the IT world, and she's top of her field as well as me. So we started our work together. We were luckily chosen to be in the HPE graduate program together. So I started like my career life, let's say, with a new chapter, a new friend, starting fresh on a white page and full of energy.
That sounds amazing. It's such a lovely story of coincidence, actually. You told me some interesting things as well. You mentioned that you had female professors, Of course, when we hear that you're from the Middle East and we see you, we make certain assumptions, and we assume that you come from a culture where women don't actually go into engineering. So we're obviously very wrong about that, right? So it seems that this is not true. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Actually, in the College of Engineering, where I studied in American University of Sharjah, the ratio of female were much higher than the ratio of male. Not because of anything, but we had specific majors that attracted ladies. So we had chemical engineering was one of the majors they offered. So the chemical engineering department was full of female more than males, because their assumption that they would be working in makeup, or they would be working on things that interest the women. So they ended up working in different fields. But still, some of them are now, I have some of our graduates are now like famous, let's say not makeup artists, but makeup, what they call it, makeup advertiser. So, and some of them, they work on in companies such as L'Oreal. Some of them, they work in different companies that are famous for the chemical fields. And in terms of the IT department, IT fields as well, we always had some competition internally in the college to let's say to encourage more women. So we had some groups for women competition together, or some that's sometimes when you are in the first year as a freshman year, we always have this competition in order to bring more collaboration within the different team members. So we had these competitions ongoing all the time along the year. And we had also a ritual from our computer engineering department that was called the pizza event ritual. So we had a monthly pizza event ritual every month. Our computer department head, the professor, basically gathers all the students of the year or the batch for a pizza dinner or a pizza lunch.
Oh, nice.
And it was at that time to know each other more, to collaborate more. And he always invites the senior students talking to the junior or even to the freshman students. So that was really a nice collaboration way. And this way actually excited more women to enter the college. So when I was before my freshman year, it was in the orientation week, they invited some senior women graduates who can talk to the new freshman people.
That's great. And that is also a proof that representation works, that you need like role models and women who have gone before you that you can see yourself in. So that's a very great strategy, I feel.
Especially that, as women, we always listen to each other.
True.
So the word of mouth for us, it's more effective than talking to other strangers. So when you see another woman who actually went to that path and would explain her challenges, would explain how did she grow up, what did she learn, and so on. It will be more effective on you, and you will feel that you're not alone.
Very true, very true. Yeah. So actually, it sounds really amazing, and a bit envious of your place of study. It was not quite as great for me, but it sounds really nice. And I was wondering, so these were all good things. Were there any stumbling blocks? Were there things you found difficult, or anything you would say that you would maybe do differently now?
From the study perspective, I would do differently that I will be, basically, I will enter a different line of visibility. Maybe I would participate more into the social work, more into the volunteering work as well. And not only that, but also in the technical field, I feel like that now we lack some skills, let's say the feminine skills. Once we are in the technical world, or where I am right now, multinational company, VMware, and so on, you feel like it's more masculine than feminine. So it's always rigid, very solid, very tough, and so on. But still, we need that flexibility. So we lack that feminine characteristics, and we need to hire more women to add that blend, to have this balance of blending of masculine and feminine together.
What you say is actually covered also by science and research, that diversity in actually is good for companies, and especially, these different skills that women bring into the business actually make businesses grow. So I totally agree with you there. And I was wondering, so now you had this computer engineering degree, and I think you said you went to a graduate program with your best friend at HP. So how did your professional career go from HP to VMware? How did you get there?
Actually, I worked in HPE since 2009. And then by end of 2019, I decided to look for a different aspect. So I wanted to get out of the infrastructure hardware business. I want to pursue something related to the software, because I want to shift gears and start some software experience. So here, where I started to build some certifications, some experience, skills, and so on. And I was really privileged to be selected among the candidates for VMware. And I was hired in 2020, in July 2020, so almost 10 months by now. And I was really happy for VMware perspective to women, where they want to hire more talented women from the market. They focus more on that skills that they lacked before. So they want to increase that mentality that women also add more value to the technical world as well.
That's true. There's a lot of diversity and equity and inclusion initiatives at VMware. So it seems you enjoy working here. You switched in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, which is also a big step, right?
Yes.
But I feel that you are happy with the decision you took here.
It was not an easy decision, especially after spending more than 10 years with HPE. It was kind of my home. And it was, again, it's not an easy decision. However, once you have this feeling or calling to change or shift careers, I thought it's the time. And especially since the pandemic started, I tried actually to use the pandemic positively on my own character, in order to learn more, to read more, and to schedule my day with balancing family and work together at home. Especially that living in Dubai, you will notice that 50% of your time you're spending it on traffic. So I was actually using that time at home to read more, to get educated in different fields that I'm willing to learn about. And here where the decision came up. And once the chance came up, I could not refuse it, because again, I wanted to focus more on software perspective, on the infrastructure side, from the software side, from the abstraction of software and hardware, from the cloud perspective, a multi-cloud strategy, the workspace side, the end user side. So I had no clue about this business at all before. All my experience was in the compute and storage and backup, but more into the back end.
I totally understand that decision. It does make sense when we look where the market is going. And you touched on something I found also very interesting, and that is the work-life balance you talked about, because that's something I want you to also illustrate when in my interviews. How do you feel? How do you feel about the work-life balance in IT? Is that something that works well for you as a woman? Because you mentioned you have a son, and so children are also a thing that women think about when they go into a career. Tell us a little bit about this.
Actually, I'm a true believer in work-life integration. I call it work-life integration because they integrate together. It's basically a big puzzle where work and life, they like kind of, they interact together and they complete each other. Why we call it work-life integration? Because now you can work at any time, anywhere, any device, basically reflecting on VMware message. Not only that, but also you can, for example, since we are now, everybody is like started working from home and so on, so you can assign certain spots for you at home to have, this is my home office, do not touch area for my son and so on. And when it is a playtime with him, I dedicate myself fully. So my first step in that aspect is basically to select where you want to be present. So I try to do multitasking and I fail at that big time. So I basically select my battles, as they say. So I select where I want to be present whenever it is a serious call for work. So I put all my senses to that call. And whenever it's time to my son, let's say after working hours, I play with him, I make some activities and so on, so that I can give each part its own role. Not only that, but also maybe after my son sleeps at night, I have some extra free time. I can spare it for some readings, for some listening on audiobooks and so on. So this is the life of integration. Not only that, but also I can see it from the other end as well, from the partner support. We cannot ignore the partner support as well. So my husband also works online, and he is one of the most people impacted with the online business, since he's also teaching online.
Oh, God.
So he's working in university as a lab instructor. So, you can imagine that during my calls, I have some classes going on at home. So we divided our territories at home, and we assign certain spots to each one. And sometimes we swap places.
That's so nice. I love the term work-life integration. I talked to Naomi Betts some weeks ago, and she termed this work-life harmony. So I love this idea that it's a puzzle, that you have pieces that you have to integrate with each other, and that you can have even though it's at home, you can have your different places where you do work, and then there's private, and all kind of works together like cogs in a different wheel. So I like that a lot. And so do you feel that working in IT is something that's really good for women? I mean, like in terms of flexibility compared to other jobs that women tend to do?
Actually, we are very grateful working for IT companies, because they were the pioneers in adding that flexibility. We had that option long ago. So we are not new to this. We always have that flexibility to work from home at any time. Maybe sometimes I had to take some days working from home when my son had some vaccines, some when those periods where when they were little, they have some routine vaccines that you need to give them. So I used to use that privilege. Not only that, but also we had, for example, when I was working from HPE, we had each month we had a day called Wellness Thursday. So we had every Thursday, every first Thursday of the month, we used to take it, let's say, a half day, a half day, so 3 hours deducted from the working hours. So I used to take that 3 hours for my own spa time, or let's say running, jogging, and so on. So we had that flexibility. It's nothing new for the IT company, and it's even more flexible now with the pandemic, especially, for example, after joining VMware, I noticed that they had those pandemic days. So you had those pandemic days as one of the categories of your leave days. So it's nice to feel with the family support. VMware is a true believer of family support. So as long as you can give your family, you can give more to the company.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I agree. I mean, I also feel that working in IT gives you a lot of flexibility in your life, makes it easier to combine things with each other. And especially this flexibility, which we have been used to for a while, is something that is definitely something we all enjoy, I think. I just remembered a few things you told me earlier that I would love to talk about. And you said you were interested in writing and you write poems and you also publish something. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that? Because that sounds so interesting.
Let me open my online blog and read from it because I don't memorize them. Mm-hmm. And usually those writings, let me just, I'll read it from my phone because I'm always logged in. 1 second. Mm-hmm.
Do you publish your own blog or do you have a platform where you publish things?
Actually, I'm a member of Medium. There is an app called Medium. Oh, really? Yeah. So I'll send you my my account there.
Yes, please.
And at the same time, I have a page on Instagram. Mm-hmm. My page actually got expanded in 2 different purposes. The first purpose was writing. Mm-hmm. And the second purpose, or basically interest that I came into, is the health coaching.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's something totally different from IT. Mm-hmm. However, I always have been like I'm keen on like cooking better, healthier, and so on. So I searched for some health coaching certificate. Mm-hmm. And luckily, during the pandemic, I started that certificate, and I'm going to graduate very soon in July to be a certified health coach.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So maybe one of my poems, this is a very short one, mm-hmm. very, very short one, but I'll read it to you. The title says, "Too busy collecting stones." Mm-hmm. Okay. And then it starts with, "Never take someone for granted. Hold every person tight to your heart. Hug those precious moments close to your heart, because you might wake up one day and realize that you've lost a diamond while you were too busy collecting stones."
That's really beautiful. Thank you. So I always feel that you need some, not only like work and family, you also need something that you do for yourself, for your creativity.
True.
As like a counterbalance to all the other things you do. So it's wonderful. Writing is wonderful, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're a person with so many different facets, like, you know, you have all these different things going on in your life and you have them very well integrated, and you feel so centered at the same time. So it's great to see a woman working in IT that, you know, has her life together like this. So if you were to give an advice to younger women who would want to follow in your footsteps, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, don't allow anyone to stop you, mm-hmm. and run after your true calling. Mm-hmm. So basically, we always have this inside voice that tells us we want to go somewhere, but mm-hmm. we're always like stepping backward 2 steps and saying, no, we are afraid, no, we cannot, and so on. So always follow that true calling inside you, and you will have the guidance alone.
Super. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Noor, it was wonderful talking to you, and thank you so much for your time. I think there would be so many different things we could still go on, but for the sake of time, I have to end our conversation here. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much. And also, I didn't expect that I would be that fluent, you know. I didn't plan what I'm going to talk about.